If you're Sign, we know that Johanna just doesn't see play in Korea, but we've seen the ETC as of late as well. But interestingly enough, we get a first ban on Alex Straza.
I think that's going to lead even more to the Decker priority that we've already seen Tempest be willing to value. First pick, first ban, it seems like it's a thought process from them. And they're going to pair that with the Diablo ban. I'm going to expect Raynor as the last ban from Gen.G. But if not, maybe
Deckard could still be
Deckard
banned
or
out.
Phoenix.
I mean, the control that Deckard gives you over the objective is absolutely crazy. And as you said, we've seen Tempest with a high priority on it. Maya?
Oh!
Okay.
I like it. Goes rogue in 2 drafts and then finds itself a ban here in game 3.
That leaves Reyna and Deckard open. So Reyna, the target, immediately on Tempest's side. And
Yeah,
Deckard Kane picked up as expected now from Gen.G, together with Phoenix.
I think it's very important to see the draft for Tempest to be very focused on their win conditions and to not be a solo playstyle. I think the only way that they're going to kind of, get the kick in the butt, if you will, to really force the fights that I think they can win is if their win condition is legitimately only through that, forcing the hand of players like Rich. And that is a great start right there within a new Barak pickup into the Malfurion. And that suddenly makes me wonder, are they going to feel comfortable possibly with the Urel into their own hands? Is that something they're going to let, Gen.G pick up again after the second ban phase?
I would still expect the ban on Urel here after the previous games, because that is a hero that can easily be picked up. Now, granted, we are on Infernal Shrine, so you have a lot more heroes that come in. Thrall has been banned out several times now and is available for that offlane, especially if you're trying to play a triple melee style again. Leoric always makes a bit of a comeback on Infernal Shrines too. But given the trouble that they had dealing with Urel, I would like for them to pick it up, since I don't expect Gen.G to hand it over to the Nobara combo.
Curious now, with the Junkrat ban, that seems like something Gen.G has played in the past multiple times on Infernal Shrine, does give them control. Obviously, we know Reset and Rich can flex between that Phoenix as we see the Garrosh ban come out. So the extra damage dealers are going to be more mage style, maybe something like the Jaina that could potentially come in here, or where else might that fall?
End up getting the Blaze for the offlane. First time we've seen Junghan, or excuse me, not Jungha, but we've seen that Good has not been, or Dami has not been able to have that for himself in this series. So it's going to be cool to see, it feels like the kind of drafts are a little bit flipped here, not completely, but it's a little bit more of like Gen.G is now drafting what we've seen games 1 and 2 of Tempest. I would argue their backline choice is a little bit better along with their support priority. And then now Tempest has the opportunity, again, to play that Anubarak Urel Malfurion playstyle.
I mean, talking about priority, Blaze has been prioritized so highly by Tempest and Gen.G picking it this time, but you mentioned Urel again, and we've been talking about her so much.
Hey!
There we go.
I'm
and
sitting
Urel.
here thinking,
all
look,
right.
you got the CC, you got the follow-up, but do you have enough pop to blow up a Muradin? Kel'Thas, this is a recently buffed Kel'Thas on his Flame Strike and Living Bomb. So we'll see if that is enough to pop, but Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen would be 2 of the best for Kel'Thas. Gen.G, what do you have in return? That's going to be melee heavy themselves, as that's going to be the Thrall pickup. And we've seen Rich be aggressive on heroes. He's played Thrall in the past, likely to be Thrall here.
I mean, sorry, but this is hands down the best draft that Tempest had in the entire series now. And they are trying to give Gen.G a taste of their own medicine with the Anubarak and Urel. Kel'Thas, of course, catering also to the battleground. You have some AoE damage in here that helps you with the minions. You're going up against an opponent that runs a triple melee, so you should be able to get value out of Living Bombs and Flame Strikes. Best draft for Tempest throughout the best of 5.
How aggressive are Rich's flanks going to be? Because I don't see an earthquake in any form or fashion. This is going to be straight up, dive that backline, hit him with that Sunder, and you better hope that you have that Mana Addict completed to try and survive that.
If Rich flanks in this game and Tempest is prepared and comfortable with Dress, he should absolutely be dead. There is no way a Kel'Thas and Power Gravity Lapse with the double auto with the 7 mixed with any amount of damage afterward that a target survives. One of the beautiful things about Kel'Thas is he's one of the few backlined mages that still has that raw, hard crowd control mixed with almost a unresponsive amount of damage. You can't be able to deal with it. And then the biggest thing is normally you're like, well, let's group up and heal. And then he's like, there comes the chain bomb problems. And it gets really, really bad, especially with this later kind of, slightly reworked, buffed version of Kel'Thas. I love the pickup for Tempest. I think this is honestly a moment where I go, I think they actually have a shot. The most important thing is they can't just sit back. They have to be willing to bring this fight and not let just Gen.G run all over them.
I do worry, though, because you have an Anubarak who does love to dive, and you can get that follow-up dive, but I think we're definitely going to have to see the follow-up routes, because the Gravity Lapse in the middle of Shrines isn't very impactful because it does hit the priority targets first. So I think a lot of it is going to have to be the coordination between the tank and support there, and then hope that you get that burst damage behind that. And if you do move forward and you don't get those kills, look for Gen.G to just counter-engage on that.
Yeah, but I mean, you can even with Anubarak and Urel diving in deep, as long as you take the control off the shrine, you find yourself in a spot where you can at least dominate the objective if you don't find the immediate kill target. So that's definitely something where I feel they have several paths to victory here with this.
Dread, final thoughts on this draft?
There are, let's see here, Deckard, Phoenix, and Thrall are really, really good Pyroblast targets. And so I want to see, you know, how much damage actually comes out there with a Pyroblast.
We're going to find out as it's ready for game number 3 here. Can Gen.G close it out, or will Tempest start to fire back, literally behind the hands of Kael'thas here as we go into game number 3?
It's game on as Tempest is fighting for their chance to push this to game number 4. They're down 2 games in the series already, and the Fire Mage is supposed to bring them back to business and their name onto the scoreboard. Hide on Malfurion for Tempest, Sign on Anubarak, Dummy on Urel. We see good on Reyna, and Lockdown on Kael'thas.
That crowd is loving those abilities already being cast out. But on the other side is that of Gen.G. It will be Sake on the Deckard, Reset on Phoenix, Rich on Thrall, Kyoja on Blaze, and Tisk coming in strong on the Muradin.
As expected, of course, Mana Addict taken immediately. Getting that extra shield data, hugely important for Kael'thas' survival, especially when we see Rich with that flank attempt. Sundering has been picked several times throughout this tournament and could definitely be a great choice here once again for Gen.G. But of course, there's always the Earthquake value if you're preparing for that salvo.
See how this unfolds. Gravity Lapse is going to miss, but a hammer by Dami is going to get the knockback, but the root follow-up instantly turned on Tisk. You can see everybody we are throwing down in the early game. There's a value of that hammer, spreading that living bomb out, getting some of that damage. So you can see the clear focus. Reset just barely able to warp away. This is hectic in the first minute.
This is definitely a brawl here. They go blow for blow in the mid lane. Good also on his Reyna, nearly falling here to the aggression from Gen.G. And talking aggression, here they are again asking for more.
A triple Gravity Lapse in there. Hide, he's going to be the first to fall. The Burrow Charge out by Sign. Nice sidestepping there, but it wasn't enough. I mean, look, just when you think you have breathing room, they come right back in. Gen.G gets first blood. Loving
the early game aggression here. Urel was already at the top together with Blaze in that one-on-one, but Urel will have a huge impact on this game. This is the combo that Gen.G has been using in the first 2 games. They went for Anubarak plus Urel. The dive, the armor provided, and the displacements around Urel, that's something that Gen.G has used perfectly. Can Tempest do the same now that they're running the combo themselves?
Okay, so Mana Addict, every time you get a globe, yes, you get extra mana to your base mana, and then of course post 20 you get a shield based on the amount of mana that you have. I am surprised though that we didn't see the Innervate talent at level 1, not for the mana provided, but more for the cooldowns. Kael'thas, pre-13, does have some cooldown issues at 13. Obviously you can go into the cooldown reduction, but that was nerfed a few months back, I believe. So not going into the Innervate, more into that auto attack style from Malfurion, getting the empowered autos there. So we'll see how this plays out pre-13 for Kael'thas.
We've seen Shadow's Clarity a few times. The Chinese teams played it actually when they are trying to go for that anti-Sergeant Hammer composition where they heavily spec'd into the Dragon's Breath as well, attempting the cooldown reduction to make sure that they can fire these abilities a lot more. Talking about ability changes though, one of the things that we're currently seeing on the side of Thrall is once again him picking up the quest. So trying to find maybe the synergy with a potential Alpha Wolf on level 16. The stacking process is something that we're going to keep an eye on. He needs the 6. Right now he doesn't have it. And he also hasn't completed his level 1 yet. Echo of Elements is normally a talent on Thrall that you want to be done when the first objective spawns.
See how that plays out here as that is 7 seconds away. We do see Tempest making the rotation to the top, something that Gen.G is not doing. And with the Shrine phase in the bottom, this is the first time where we've seen Tempest establish some map control through these first 3 games. So that will have the impact on the top lane. Yeah. See if Gen.G will take this fight mid, as this is where Kael'thas shines. Time for Kael'thas to see if he can light some people up as Tisk comes in. Gets a Stormbolt just to continue stacking.
This is where we want to see Tempest really show up in game number 3, and they're already just establishing that position. The push at the top lane is strong for them, far away from the Shrine itself, as Tempest is still a bit behind in the minion count. Gen.G is attempting to take the control of the objective.
And right now, Lockdown and team continuing to move forward. Living Bomb goes out. Dami holding point for now. See if he gets the knockback, trying to spread that Living Bomb, which he's done so far. Tempest fighting back, has started to get this closer, almost even in the Shrine count.
Right now, Tempest Tempest again looking for the opportunity. Yeah, but Deckard Kane already with a lock attempt. Again, the living bombs just spreading the damage. Thrall completing his quest too. You know, poke a little more aggressively. He has to engage, but Tist is in trouble, and Muradin goes down.
And now they're looking for more. Reset's going to be the second to fall there on Phoenix, and establishing control was Tempest in that fight. However, enough skeletal defenders were picked up by Gen.G, but there's that blow-up fight potential that we know. Blaze, he's trying to get out up at the top here. Kyoja does manage to get back, hits them with the spray. He actually stepped back out to hit him with the spray and say, "You ain't got me yet."
Yeah, the problem is if you hit the spray behind the wall, they don't see it, so you need to really play around the vision, and that's exactly what he did there. Talking about doing things, that's a nice lockdown, and look at that. Once again, the Punisher coming through. Tempest, they need to be a little bit careful here. They got the kills, they also pressured Blaze, and on the other side, I think it was Phoenix towards the end, but they need to be very, very cautious that they're not falling to the Punisher itself. That could have been scary, especially after Thrall hit the Wolf.
Well, Tempest, they didn't give up any of the towers in that bottom lane, but that camp that they picked up did end up taking that entire gate in the top lane, which is where we see compounded with those 2 kills. Now established a lead here for Tempest in the early game. And Haldor, just remember, Kel'Thas only gets scarier post 13 and 16. Cooldown reductions most likely at 13. We'll see, obviously, if there's the change up. But then 16, you have the option for the double flame strike.
I mean, right now with the Sunfire Enchantment, this is exactly the build that we've been looking for Kel'Thas, trying to get these auto attacks in for that extra damage. And that's something that Thrall and anyone that tries to hit the engage need to be careful of. Also, talking about Thrall, we talked about the stacking progress of the level 4 quest talent, and currently Rich is sitting at 4 stacks, so he needs another 2. With one good connection here, he will be able to complete that. But if he falls before it happens or misses a wolf, then he is going to be reset to 0.
Especially because he didn't go Ancestral Wrath at 7, making sure to see if he can get some self-sustain there with some healing. Instead, he's going follow-through, making sure to get some bonus damage on those abilities. So he is all in with this build.
Exactly, because you get the cooldown reduction once you finish the quest, so then you get even more procs out of your level 7. But you give up some of your survivability for sure. There's no super hit point heavy tank on the other side, but it's still a risk that he is taking with that choice.
I just love the fact that Tempest, we already see the Mana Addict now completed, which means that Kel'Thas is able to press that button, give himself a shield. This is an unstacked talent quest, so that will continue to provide a stronger and stronger shield as the game goes on. But more importantly, the mana. Once you start to get to this territory, Kel'Thas mana issues are almost non-existent, especially when you already have a Malfurion there on the other side. So the Kel'Thas looking strong early game.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be fantastic. I'm super hyped for this. I said it during the draft. I feel this is the best draft that Tempest had in the series, and they have a really good shot here to take their opponent down. Tranquility the choice. We have Cocoon already taken, but we're still waiting after the Pyroblast has been confirmed for Urel, the only one missing it. But an attempt to go for a kill here. Good zoning, but is that going to be enough? Muradin, here comes the immediate move. 1 stun, 2, trying to go in for number 3, but they cannot lock down Tis long enough.
Yeah, much to the disappointment of the crowd here. The oohs and ahs are going. They want to see the blood there of that. Unable to get the takedown. 10 here now. Muradin will be even more tanky with the presumed avatar. There we go. It will be the Sundering.
So, exactly, Sundering has been chosen as the talent, and this is really the crucial point here, because if you play that Thrall stack, you're looking for these flanks, and that's something where especially Kel'Thas needs to be careful. He has the Mana Addict shield, and he has also the Gravity Lab, so whenever Thrall is starting to come in, you need to be ready for it.
I think also the responsibility lies with Raynor as well. Has to be keeping an eye on the flank.
Also, Thrall got reset on his level 4 quest talent. He's sitting at 0 again, so he missed one of his wolves, and that is highly important here, since it becomes actually pretty difficult toward the later stages to stack that properly without really going deep in these fights.
You can see the scouting of an Uberak, making sure to keep an eye on, but hold on, lockdown. He's under assault here. There's the Mana Addict shield, but there's the knockback. The Lornado has put him in harm's way. That's going to be the first takedown there. Perfect play by Sake.
Really well done. That's exactly the target that you want to kill, and they got the access. Tist is also very deep here, and they get the second kill as Malfurion falls. They counter kill, though, maybe against Muradin, and yes, Urel goes in, Dami with a jump, and that's a dead dwarf.
Reset just able to warp out in time. He was under those towers, but now Gen.G, they'll look to establish control as they did before. They are up just over 10. The death timers now coming back for Tempest. That might be too little too late, but they are still trying to hold ground.
The camp at the top lane is getting mad value for Tempest, but we're currently seeing still no Pyroblast used, no Hyperion. But with the objective already at 36 stacks, there's very little you can do if you're a Tempest. Those are cooldowns you don't want to burn right now. You save them for the defense.
That fort did end up falling good. He's trying to survive for now. Reset, he's going to back off. And now Gen.G, can they get the push this time? Again, the defensive positioning of Tempest last time was a little risky. This time they'll bait it behind. It'll give them an opportunity to defend again. Gen.G, see how aggressive they want to be. Nice bait.
Yeah, it's good. Still has Hyperion available. That's always a great zoning tool if you have to use it to save a structure. So that's definitely something you can rely upon right now. And they burned that Punisher down quickly, especially with Blaze at the top lane. He needed to react to that pressure. So at this point, the fort is still in play. Gen.G on the same experience level as we see for Tempest.
But this is a very different feel than the first two games that we had.
Yes.
This Kael'thas is continuing to go up. I am curious as this game goes on how he will build out, but for now,
I mean, we can't stress enough how important it was for Gen.G to get that engage, and it was a close call because it looked for a moment that with the Mana Addict shield on level 1, he might just be able to move away. It's the Tornado that really sealed the deal. If that doesn't come through and you don't kill Kael'thas, you've blown most of your engage tools. You have used major cooldowns on your heroics, and you got nothing out of it. So Gen.G made a perfect play there.
Reset just missed on that dive there, but here comes the Sundering. Good trying to walk away. Cocoon was used onto Phoenix Tranquility, trying to keep multiple members alive. Hyperion is out.
And that's exactly what we talked about. This time they don't get the kill. I love the interplay of the Sundering into the Tornado, but this time they did not get the kill against Jimmy, and the fight immediately turns against them. So Gen.G, outside of that initiation process, where they are stacking these heroic abilities, they have a tough time. And that's really where they need to find these kills, and it's only becoming harder as the game continues.
Right now, Tempest holding strong within this, so we do get cooldown reduction, and this time, despite the lack of defensive options, or at least the healing option at level 7, Rich this time at 13, he's like, look, maybe I get some spell shield value out of this talent tier. Yeah,
definitely an adjustment on his part, and a very good one at that. But as you called it, Pyromaniac on the level 13 now for Kael'thas for the cooldown reduction. Giddy Up also taken. And then Nubarak with an attempt to head into more AoE damage. Very helpful, of course, on the Shrine itself, but also for those team fights that have been very explosive. It's just like that ticking damage over time that can really make the difference here if you go in deep for these kills.
Some calm here before the next Shrine phase. The camp already picked up. Kael'thas, again, the Flame Strikes will be very good for wave clear if needed, just like we saw there. But we've got a pick there. Yrel not able to make it through as we catch that on the tail end. Yrel does get picked. Not the worst death in the game, but those are definitely ones you want to avoid at this point.
Yeah, 5-man commitment by Gen.G as they're roaming the map, and that's an easy kill against Yrel. No heroic ability used by her. I actually like that. In that situation, it's very unlikely that you're going to get away from this. So they just play it safe. They save the cooldown, and they're saying, Yrel is going to be back. There's no Shrine announced just yet, but if we blow that cooldown and she still falls, we're not having it available in the fight. Even if she survives, that's a massive disadvantage. They're just accepting the death. They're not panicking, not pressing the ult there, and just saying, okay, now we can just go into an even fight around the next objective.
Really love that call, though, by Gen.G. They got that pick, they moved up, they took down the wall, but more importantly, they took down the well, making sure that's not a tool that Tempest can have in this fight. So neither team having that well. Tempest does have the fort to retreat to. We did see a Nubrak did complete his regen master at level 1. So lots of bonus health now for Nubrak in these fights to remain even tankier.
Rich has still not completed his level 4
Look at his
quest.
positioning.
He's sitting at 2 right now, and he's looking for that flank, for that Sundering that can be followed up by the Tornado, and this time Sign is already about to sniff him out. So they know exactly where Thrall is positioned. They saw that he was missing earlier, and he's actually the target. They're trying to get him low. That's exactly what happens. They attempt to go for the kill, and that's exactly what they can do. They take down Kael'thas again.
The salvo and the Sunder followed up by the root was enough to confirm that kill. Not even able to use that Mana Addict. And they are just finding pick after pick. We're still waiting for that Pyroblast to come out at any given moment, but right now, the minute Gen.G pulls the trigger, Tempest, they're struggling to find an answer right now.
I'm really wondering, I didn't really see how a Lockdown ended up in that position with Kael'thas, but I felt he was very far out there. If he just walked up to that, that would have been a massive mistake. Maybe there was another displacement, but I feel the Sundering did not put him into that position, so he's really far out and he's struggling.
Right now, the focus has clearly been on that, but the minute that salvo comes out, Rich seems to be looking to rip that, and then that priority target with those wolves that you've been talking about. And so far, it's been effective. Tempest trying to stop some of the bleeding. They know they can't defend the fort here. It's a foregone conclusion that it's going down, so they'll find an advantage elsewhere. I am surprised that they're doubling up on camps, because by the time they hearth, this Punisher will already be on the keep wall. This is a very slow rotation here by Tempest.
It's the level 16, I feel, that gives them a bit of trouble here. And now they start with a defense, already zoning attempts, but they got Kane. But this should still be a defense that they can make happen. Nice bait here towards the wall, right, going in deep with that. And now it's all a question, is that engagement happening from Gen.G? They have Sundering, they try to make it happen with Kyoja and Blaze, but the jet propulsion misses. That
slow rotation might cost them a keep here, as Gen.G is just living on this. And it's the Arcane Punisher, and those turrets are actually spinning directly on that. So for Tempest, unable to get back in time. They did get 16 in the middle of that. And I think we've got some Ignite action going on here, Kaldor.
Exactly, we do. Ignite taken on 16s now. I mean, the Flame Strike, if you can hit... To be fair, like in this situation, you are going to get a lot of Flame Strike value no matter what, because all of those fights are just stacked onto the objective itself. So Ignite is a great talent to take here, since it applies the Living Bomb to it. And with that, you have a good chance of spreading that damage even more. The problem that I have is that so far they're not playing that poke game that you can play around that. They're really trying to go for the quick kill and often end up on the back foot. This time though, they're going for Kyoja, and he is going to fall eventually because that Pyro Blast is hitting home.
And now they're looking for more. Dami gets the knockback, batter up, as he says, as Tiss trying to hold in position. Avatar is out, seeing if he can stay alive for now. Gets the Dwarf Toss, Hyperion is there. Tempest will look to move forward off of that one pick onto Blaze, see if they can get some more value to get back into the game in terms of experience. But right now, no minion waves means that they've got to retreat as Tiss continues to stack up.
Yeah, Tiss with another Stormbolt here. He needs 2 more to complete the quest. And we're coming back to Thrall. Thrall with the Alpha Wolf now as his level 16 talent choice to get the synergy with level 4. The problem is, he's still far away from completing that talent. Several times he got reset now. And this is another time when this is very likely to happen. Rich is down again, and he's at 0 stacks, but Lockdown falls, and so does Reyna, as we have Phoenix coming in with a salvo.
That salvo was money. The amount of damage that put out, because we saw the Mana Addict shield was used to try and defend there. It was necessary to stay alive, but the salvo follow-up was enough to confirm the kill, and it didn't confirm just 1, but 2. And now Silent Team, they are in a bad spot trying to take this fight. There's the Cocoon. They turn on Reset. Reset's actually going to get blown up. Sign. Perfect execution to thwart the assault. They're trying to keep Hyde alive as he's walking away. Tiston Team, they're trying to come in. Here comes Kyoja.
Great job that we had initially by Tempest, but Kyoja coming in might be the one thing that changes this fight around. Once again, the bunkers on the ground. They're trying to get the kill. They can't though. But what a fantastic bait that we just saw from Tempest. Side moving to the right, baiting them, him turning around, dropping the Cocoon, and then immediately the stun chain onto Phoenix. Great job by Tempest.
The back and forth here has the crowd in a frenzy as that went through.
The crowd definitely hyped, and for very good reason. I mean, this game currently is all over the place. 6 kills against 7. Tempest is closer to making a dent into Gen.G's armor than they've ever been in this series. They still are half a level behind, but they are fighting for every opportunity here. Another Pyroblast is hitting, just zoning Tist off. Keltha's saying, I got plenty of these.
He'll have plenty of these in another 85 seconds. Dami making sure to get another camp top, but we see on the other side of the map on the mini-map, Gen.G doing the same. So the counter push in the top lane for Tempest, though, not far out here in terms of experience, and this fight will happen pre-20. And for Tempest, this might come down. They still have a fort in that bot lane. If things go terribly wrong, obviously that top keep down could become a problem.
Yeah.
But for Tempest, this is a good chance for them to continue to get back into this game.
Rich on 0 stacks with a level 4. We're going to monitor that if we can at some point get the cooldown reduction to find the synergy with 16. And also his level 7 talent. It's another one of these synergies we pointed out earlier, but he only gets those if he completes the quest, and he's far from making that happen. At this point, Tempest still have Hyperion. I really want to see them protect Kalthas and also Reyna. And Kalthas lockdown, he's already behind the wall here, trying to make sure that this time he's not that easy kill that he was previously.
That's a warp in. There's the Nature's Cure used onto Good. He's able to survive. Tiston Team, they're going to retreat, fall back to the defensive position onto this shrine. Right now, Tempest, they still have that Tranquility out, but with Cocoon down, also Sundering was used, so we do have some cooldowns here available, but Gen.G starting to establish a lead.
Gen.G actually used a lot of the tools that we normally see for them to try and get a kill here. And I'm still waiting. There comes Hyperion and Hyde. Where's the Tranquility? Ardent Defender is coming out. Tranquility is getting poplars. They're going in. They're going for Phoenix again. But the bunker is there and saves Reset for now. He warps away, but look at Lockdown. Once again, he finds himself in trouble. Moving out though as Dami comes in with the extra armor, helping him out. The Mortar Punisher is taken though. Phoenix falls. Can Tempest maybe get another kill here to turn this around? But no, It's Urel who dies next.
And lockdown, Tist is just squatting all over him, and he has somehow managed to survive. But here comes the Pyroblast. Can Tist survive? He does survive. Still has enough health, but there's continue to look for the fight. That's going to be a takedown on the Thrall as they look for more. The Cocoon is out. Lockdown, can he survive? He does for now as the support comes in. Blaze is down, and Tempest is holding, but Kaldor, the core is falling.
The core is falling as the catapults are zoning in, and Tempest, they have not realized it yet. They need to get back, and they need to get back fast. Good is going in. The penetrating round is hitting, but the core is down to 22% at this point. Malfurion is about to be taken out as Tist is going in for the kill. Gen.G realizing how much pressure they already pushed onto the core, and that opens up backdoor potential from the red team throughout the rest of this game.
Well, for Tempest, this does give them more time, but time, how much time is another story. As you said, the backdoor potential is very much real now with this team on the side of Gen.G, but the fact that Tempest continues to fight back in all of these scenarios is insane. And now Kael'thas, we've seen him under pressure before. He'll have a little more range to dish out some damage.
And to be quite fair, Ridge is getting bodied in a lot of these fights after the initial Sundering, but we also have him now with a Bolt of the Storm available, and that's a huge tool to close the distance and try and get the kill quickly, because this has been the game plan of Gen.G in every team fight. Try and put Ridge in a position where he can get the Sundering out, where they pressure either Reyna or Kael'thas, and it has been a problem for Tempest, but every time they deal with it, they become dangerous.
Heating up here as we get to the later game, and Gen.G walking forward, trying to take control of the camps. The Flame Strike will sniff them out, see if Tempest will go in. And an Uberak with Rewind is terrifying post level 20.
It's also the top lane vision that becomes so much more important now, since Tempest needs to control it. If they lose vision of the top lane and it gets pushed in too much, first of all, it's the danger of catapults attacking the core, but it's also the possibility of Gen.G sneaking past them and just simply A-clicking it.
Yeah, I think that it's a weird spot, right? Because you can always path through in those choke points, but because that shrine is the top lane, it's almost best case scenario for Tempest in that regard, in that they can defend the catapults while trying to defend the shrine, and that will be their last stand. If things go wrong and they lose several members, it's going to be game over. But for Tempest, it does give them an opportunity to hold on in that top lane, at least momentarily.
Yeah, having the next shrine activating top lane is definitely an advantage for Tempest at this point, because you already know if there's with 22% on the core, if you lose a team fight, it's over.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to save your core if it's that low already and is basically only relying on shields right now. So the top lane is actually great for Tempest when it comes to the spawn of the shrine, because they can defend against catapults and at the same time engage into the probably final battle of the game, no matter how it ends.
And imagine if Gen.G held in that spot. Urel just passed directly through it. Is Urel, can survive in a lot of situations, but Gen.G will respond in kind. A lot of times we see teams in the early shrine phase, it's all about that lane control around the shrine, making sure that if you control that mid lane mark and you can push towards the enemy side, it makes your engagements that much easier and that much more difficult for your opponents because you have so much vision control over that lane. And so for Gen.G, they will reestablish that control, but Tempest, they're coming up to make a stand.
And Thrall is hiding the entire time on the map. Every time you look at that mini-map, you see that Thrall is not showing himself, because this is one of the major engage tools for Gen.G. And as long as Tempest know where he is, they can position around that. But there's Rich. You see Sign trying to anchor it because they're expecting Thrall to come from down here. That's exactly what's going on. They're going for Sign this time, but Anubarak survives. Malfurion already with his own ult. The Hyperion comes out, and Salvo is trying to get some damage in. Good is trapped, and he goes down. Reyna is eliminated as Gen.G gets the perfect engage into the battle.
Tommy gets the knockback. Ardent Defender has been popped. See if they try and turn this fight or whether they can wait for that Reyna to come back. Instead, Kael'thas and team, they're trying to hold position. Sign goes in. They get the stun. They get number one. Reset, of course, does have that Unconquered Spirit. Is it enough? There's going to be the proc on it. They're trying to take him down instead. Dami's going to be the first of all. Sign's going to be the next. And now Gen.G with three members down on the side of Tempest should be able to go directly to core as they look for more and lock down. He's all but an afterthought here as he's going to be the fourth to fall. And now Gen.G looking to close out this series and make it to the grand finals.
High trying to 1 versus 5 it, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Here comes Gen.G. They don't go for the objective. They drop that core. They close out the series. They win game 3 on Infernal Shrines with a 3-0 victory. They advance over Tempest.
Wow. Lornado plays that game were insane. I mean,
yeah, sundering into Lornado over and over again. The place to isolate either Kael'thas or Reyna.
just so many plays being made. And I know it's a lot of team coordination, but the support plays I know makes a very happy Dreadnought. Dreadnought saw that game. Sake's looking pretty good.
Sake was looking very, very good. But another guy that I feel like was maybe underestimated in his impact was Tist. Tist did not let Lockdown do anything for pretty much the entirety of the game. Hey, a fight's about to happen, insert the dwarf toss, and he's like, all right, found my target. I'm just going to go ahead and give a couple of autos, and he could never make anything happen, because the problem with that, for anybody who doesn't know, it forces you to use your empowerment onto your gravity lapse itself to be able to hit any of the kill targets, which is never what you want to do on the Kel'Thas, you know, at least not when you're trying to maximize the damage output. So it was cleverly done there by Tis and friends, and yeah, the coordination from Gen.G. We got the adjustment on the draft from Tempest that we were hoping to see. I can't help but feel like it was just 2 games too late. And, you know, again, I feel like if they had done this a little bit earlier and had more pocket strategies, it might have been a closer series.
I was actually surprised that Urel didn't try to peel for the backline a little bit more.
Yeah, I do think that Dami had a bit more, you know, I'm going to dive kind of thought process than we typically see with Kyocha, that very kind of defensive, stalled out oriented play. And with a Rainer Kel'Thas, that pretty much has to be your only focus.
I mean, every team fight, the MO was we look for the Sundering, we look for the Lonado, and we're going on Reyna and we're going on Kel'Thas. And especially after it happened like once, twice, I expect that, I mean, in particular on this Urel, just like to go back and say, okay, I'm going to be there, I'm going to create the space to allow you to walk away and not fall. Because every single time they kept them alive, Tempest became dangerous and became a force to be reckoned with in the team fight.
Well, the good news is, for those of you that haven't seen the updated bracket, obviously this is the winners bracket finals. Gen.G will move on to the grand finals, but for Tempest, they'll have their chance later in the day to continue to play their way back, as they just only dropped to the lower bracket. They have not been eliminated yet, because we still have a lot more action to go in that lower part. So obviously Gen.G still keeping their unblemished record alive, trying to replicate what Dignitas did last weekend, and so far so good.
I feel like after that series, that it's becoming a very likely type of circumstance, right? For me, I felt like that was going to be the highest probability of the team kind of taking games off of Gen.G. That in mind, maybe Tempest was comfortable playing it a little bit slower, not throwing everything on the line, right? Kel'Thas is not the wildest pick on a map like Infernal Shrines, and hopefully if they do end up finding a way making it to that stage up against Gen.G, that, you know, they've got a little bit more in the backpack there.
Well, the good news is we also get to hear from Reset on the winners interview, and we'll take a look at what he had to say about that series versus Tempest.
Thank you, guys. And we have Reset from Gen.G. Congratulations on your win. Now you are moving straight to the grand finals. And how does it feel winning your first match in day number 3?
우선 최종 결승에 진출한 것 축하드리고요. 오늘 이제 3번째 날에 첫 승리한 소감을 듣고 싶습니다.
오늘은 많이 힘들 거라 예상했고 실제로도 경기 내용은 많이 힘들었어요. 그래도 저희가 좀 폼이 많이 오른 상태라서 좀 무난하게 잘 흘러갔던 것 같아요.
So I expected it to be a tough match, and it was indeed tough, but I think we're in excellent shape now, and everything worked out really great.
Okay, that's great to hear, but let's talk about game number 3, Infernal Shrines. Tempest had a Kel'Thas pick, which we didn't really expect, and also a Pyroblast. Were you at all surprised by the pick and the Pyroblast?
지옥불 진단에서 상대방이 켈타스를 들고 왔고 그다음에 이제 파이로블래스트도 나왔는데 그걸 혹시 예상하고 계셨는지요?
켈타스 픽은 조금 의외였던 게 켈타스가 이제 저희 조합으로 상대하기에는 저희가 이제 켈타스를 잡기 너무 좋다 보니까 의외였어요 조금.
예. So for Kel'Thas, I was kind of unexpected, but considering our composition, it was a pick that favored us, so it was good.
Okay, those are Kel'Thas. Of course, no one expected. Not many of us, of course, expected. But of course, you are going to the grand finals. But still, anyone can come up to the grand final. We have double eliminations. Who would you like to have as an opponent in the grand finals? Tempest, Blossom, or Ballistics?
자, 이제 이게 더블 엘리미네이션 때문에 이미 꺾은 상대로 다시 올라와서 결승에서 상대할 수가 있는데 템페스트, 발리스틱스 그리고 블러썸 중에 어떤 상대가 올라왔으면 좋겠나요?
사실 좀 예상하기가 이번 대회는 예상하기가 많이 힘들어서 누가 올라오든 간에 좀 많이 힘들 것 같아요. 그래도 아마 발리스틱스가 올라오지 않을까 싶어서 발리스틱스만 잘 대처하면 될 것 같아요.
So in this tournament, it's very hard to expect who is going to advance to grand finals. All three of them have the chance, but I think Ballistics has the highest chance to come up and we'll need to prepare against them.
All right, that's it for the interview. Thank you very much, Reset, for the interview. But we are not done yet. That was only the first best of 5. We have the losers coming up next. Ballistics versus Blossom. That's going to be the next match. Stay tuned for more Eastern Clash action.
Hero